I didn't get one.
10, 14 days.
I didn't even know what it was.
I haven't done that. I never was away for it because all the kids.
Good deal.
Yeah. So anyways, we're excited about it. So I'm just ready to plan, take a break. I know, well, as Marlon knows, it's
I knew that
tough
was
for
going out.
a attorney to take a 2-week vacation. You don't really take a 2-week vacation, you just answer
Okay, it's
email.
5 o'clock. Everybody ready? Y'all ready? We'll call our meeting to order, and we're going to ask Mrs. Renee Allen if she would please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item number 3 is audience of any citizen. Florida Gateway College Board of Trustees will hear any citizen who wishes to address the board on a one-time basis pertaining to a relevant topic. If the board wishes to hear more about that topic will be scheduled for a future board meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and the time dedicated to this topic will not exceed 20 minutes. We have sign up for public comment this evening. Mr. Stu Leiker, is it your pleasure, Mr. Leiker, to address the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Nice
sir.
to see Ms. McGinnis back in
Oh, thank
all
you.
glory. I just have one question. I was looking at the budget stuff this evening before I came here. I've been a little busy. And I was just wondering, has the college come up with a policy of a minimum to meet the $15 an hour for everybody on the campus? And I saw it was crossed out to the kitchen workers. So just if you guys are up to speed, that's my only question. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leiker. All right. The approval of the board meeting minutes from May the 12th, we have the regular meeting minutes, and we'll take those, and then we'll go to the workshop minutes. We'll take those items separately. You all have had the packet. You've read the minutes. Can we entertain a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from May the 12th?
So moved.
I second it.
Mrs. Norris makes the motion. Ms. McGinnis seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. The May 12th workshop, you've read those items. Can we have a motion second to approve that?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Cerncy makes the motion.
Second.
Mrs. Allen seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we're on to our student government report from our SGA representative. Are you going to be speaking to us tonight? We are so happy to have you. Feel free to go to the microphone and share.
This is her.
Yes,
You
you
did.
did.
That's okay.
No
That's
problem.
all right.
You
That's
want to tell them
okay.
where you were today? Because she just got changed. I said, you could have came the way you were before, but you said.
It's okay.
This is the
But I
report she
was
brought.
helping with one stop, so I apologize for being late.
No, that's
So We're
important.
happy to have you.
And I also apologize to you guys for being late too. So. Excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. Good afternoon. SGA has continued to offer activities to our students over the summer. In May, we had tie-dye day, where students were able to tie-dye branded FGC shirts. We also passed out snow cones on the 25th and passed out information to students on the 26th about the meaning of Memorial Day. So far, for the month of June, we passed out walking tacos, which the students really enjoyed. We also passed out summer grab bags, which included branded sunglasses, sunscreens, and different items for students to enjoy on the hot summers we have in Florida, because it is really hot. We also have a few upcoming events here on campus. On June 21st, we are doing sun catchers, and June 28th, we are doing popcorn day. In July, the new SGA will be taking office and will begin planning for the upcoming fall and spring semester. This concludes my report for today. Are there any questions?
I was impressed with the multiplicity of events during the summer, when I'm sure many organizations are taking off. You all are pressing ahead. Thank you so much. That's encouraging.
Thank you.
Any
you
other
very
comments from board members to our representative? Thank you so much
Thank
for being here, and thank you for what you did earlier today on our
Thank you.
behalf.
Thank you very much.
It's big. Wonderful. Okay. We're on to our item number 6, presentation of the consent agenda. The items on this agenda are routine business, state directives, or compliance items. All items have been reviewed by our board attorney, and they're available to the board for its examination. Any trustee can request a topic to be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further. Typographical errors will be noted and corrected in the board minutes. As you look at the consent agenda to the board members, are there any items that you want to pull out and consider separately? Hearing none, then are there any questions on any of the consent agenda items? There are none. We'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I move to approve.
Ms. McGinnis makes a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Norris gives us a second. Is there any discussion on the motion and second? There is none. All in favor of the motion and second, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. Now we're on to academic affairs and Dr. Gavin.
Evening. Well, our welding club worked with Avery Roberts to build a fire pit ring that was donated to the Grit Foundation for their Poker Run fundraising event for first responders. He actually delivered the materials, and our welding club went ahead and built it. It's a very great collaboration there. 19 out of our 45 RN graduates so far for the spring cohort has taken the NCLEX, and 18 of those 19 passed. So right now with that cohort, we have a 94.7% pass rate to the NCLEX, which brings our overall pass rate for the December and the spring cohort to 78.04%. So we're definitely climbing in that arena. The Sound of Music performs June 23rd to the 26th at the Levy Auditorium. And this is our biggest production yet. We have 48 actors with 24 orchestra members and 8 technical operators. So if you guys are interested, let Todd Sipp know or me, and we will get you tickets. A new rating group has been approved with the Second Chance Pell program, and Dr. Michael Baker will be leading that group. He's supposed to be meeting with them this week, and they have 12 students that are interested in the writing group. So we're excited to see what comes out of that adventure. Dr. Dawn Cross has been selected to participate as a fellow for the inaugural class of the Early Childhood Policy Works Institute, which was sponsored by the Children's Forum. And this institute is designed to equip and empower early childhood professionals to become knowledgeable and informed advocates for families and children and the profession itself. So, and also in that same arena, doctors Pam Carswell and Sharon Cuthbertson, they traveled to Italy to the, and I'm going to butcher this name, to the Reggio Emilia region, which is northern Italy, and to examine best practices that are used up there for their early childhood. And it's really centered, one of the main principles is that it's centered around children are capable of constructing their own learning. So They went up there with their own money. They paid for it themselves, personal funds to go travel over there, and they thought it was a great experience. And we're excited to see what they bring back to that. And then finally, our bachelor's degree in early childhood education earned its initial accreditation by NACCE. And the AS degree program is going to have their annual report, or it was accepted, the annual report was accepted, and they're going to be undergoing their self-study this academic year for NACCE. Any questions?
I have a question, refresh my memory. Okay, so obviously improving on our pass rate. What is the Florida standard and what is the national standard?
It's fluid. It's typically in the 70s is the I believe is the national
78
one.
right now. I think.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's fluid every single year.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what the state did this past year? Do you have numbers from them?
I don't, but I can get you. I believe it's around that same value. It's 78, 80 max.
And of course, you know, we're gonna wanna know Santa Fe and North Florida.
Okay.
Please, while you're researching.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
All right.
That's a wonderful report. It was great to hear about the early childhood four-year degree accreditation. It's very exciting.
Can I ask a question? Paul, you want to explain to them what we're doing with nursing or you don't want to do that? You want to do that in July? About the entry dates and the accelerated, or you want to wait? You want to put you on the spot or bring Ann in for that?
Well, I was probably going to talk about that in August when we get the applications approved and all that.
I know. Okay, you just sent that to me today. Okay, so that's why it was fresh in my mind. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
All right, now I got to
Question on the early education too. You know, one of the things when we've always been looking at new programs to bring on, it's always about jobs that are available in the community, keep people in improve their circumstances. Can you research and give us an idea of what the openings are going to look like in the next, 5 years or so? I know there's so many people, when we started looking at these programs, of course, like DROP, everybody was taking advantage of DROP. And so I suspect it's probably, those have dropped and there's probably a next round of droppies. So I know that the labor, they have the statistics that show like what are the jobs that are going to be open and how much, so if you can just bring us back some feedback on what are those jobs opening so that we can gauge that, people who do well in that program, what are their job options looking like for them? I mean, I know we could probably get anecdotal information from all of you guys here that are in the school systems, but it would be helpful.
Okay. I mean, basically for the accelerated nursing, we're gonna get them in and out the door within 2 years.
Wow.
So with their AS and nursing.
That's wonderful.
Good,
More to come.
good. Thank you so much.
Poor
Anything
Renee's
else?
looking at me like, what?
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about with the early childhood education program. I know that the biggest problem that schools have is facilities for early childhood education, because they typically, are start with kindergarten, and most of the schools have a very small group of portables or few rooms for early childhood ed, and so it tends to be like a lottery or whatever to get in. And the demand is so high, parents don't have a place to put their preschool children in an education program that they would want to. So I would see that is a program that would only grow with demand in the future.
But the facilities could be
Facilities are the problem,
The
that's the
problem,
hindrance right now. But as far as demand, it's high.
facilities, baby gator.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Cardenas, Enrollment Management, Student Affairs.
Thank you and good evening. I'd like to start out by talking about summer enrollment. We currently have 1,796 students registered for the summer term versus 1,746 from a year ago. So we're up 3.5% year over year. Students can still register for the summer term B6 until June 29th, and that will be the final term. Of that nearly 1,800 students, 300 of those are dual enrollment students. Dual enrollment is still down for the summer, but New students in the dual enrollment program is up year over year. Returning is down, but new students coming into the program is up. So Julie Cannon's been working hard. We've been out at the high schools. We've been converting those students, getting them in, getting them registered. But we are seeing an increase in overall enrollment. So hopefully we'll start seeing that trend hit the dual enrollment numbers as we continue through. This is this will be the last summer enrollment report. Next time we meet will be August. Summer will be completed by that time. So numbers look good for the summer. Fall enrollment for fall of 2022, we have 1,187 students registered for 9,888 credit hours versus 1,052 at the same time last year. This is a 13% increase year over year. So fall numbers are looking much better than they were a year ago and even 2 years ago. We're tracking well. Students who have registered for the fall have received a $300 book voucher. This is part of the promotion that we're running to help increase enrollment. Also, students were put in a drawing for a gasoline gift card valued at $100 a piece. We gave away 5 of those cards, which may or may not fill up their gas tanks halfway. I know, but tough joke. Because it's not a joke. As was mentioned before, one-stop enrollment day is happening today. We've had 106 students that have gone through those doors as of 4:30 today. We have student workers over there, enrollment services, financial aid, academic advising, student success, student activities. All of these, even cosmetology, are over there working hard, answering questions, and getting students registered and enrolled for the fall semester. They've done an incredible job. We have one more one-stop enrollment day on July 21st, and this will be another big one as we make that push for the final fall numbers. 3 members of the FGC student government were named to the FCSAA All-Academic Team. Aaliyah Montgomery, Jasmine Solomon, and Lindsay Thomas exceeded the 3.3 GPA requirement to make this year's team. Florida Gateway College will celebrate Juneteenth, National Independence Day, in the Levy Performing Arts Center on Monday, June 20th. Juneteenth commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in 1865, and FGC celebration will focus on the theme of overcoming adversity. The event will feature the Moso Khan West African Dance and Drum Ensemble performing traditional choreography and highlighting West African heritage. Retired Fire Chief Al Wilson will serve as a guest speaker. And finally, FGC summer camps. It has been a very hot camp season for FGC this summer. Basketball and art camp finished up today. Timberwolf flag football camp and theater camp start next Monday. We still have a few spots left in each of those camps for anybody who is interested. That is my report. Are there any questions?
Encouraging, very encouraging numbers.
Yes.
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no questions or comments, thank you so much, Mr. Cardenas. So very encouraging. Okay, we have our business services report from Mrs. Holloway, and before she begins, I just want to say to our dear board members here, I think if my math is right, we have about 13 items that are going to require motions and what have you, so don't get motion fatigue, if you will. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First, I'll start with my usual budget amendments that I request approval on. So we're requesting approval of Fund 7, Budget Amendment 10, which has been revised so the report reflects actual revenues, revised budgeted expenditures, actual expenses, and updated projects through May 17th, 2022.
Okay, you hear our first request. I would like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
I second it.
We have a motion by Mrs. Norris, a second by Mrs. McGinnis. Are there any comments? All in favor of that motion and second, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, on to the next. The college requests approval of Budget Amendment Number 8 to the Restricted Current Fund, Fund 2, for the fiscal year 21-22.
This amendment recognizes revised award authorizations and new grants received in the 21-22 fiscal year.
You hear the request from Mrs. Holloway on item C. We hear a motion.
I so move.
Mrs. Allen moves. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Dr. Sorensen seconds. If there's any question or discussion on item C, if not, all in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the motion is carried.
Thank you. The college requests approval to move funds from Fund 1, the current unrestricted fund, to Fund 7, capital funds, in order to replace PICO funding, which has not been rewarded from the state in the past, well, actually, it's more than 2 years, but we're going on 3 years now. This money is necessary for capital improvement projects in and around campus, and if approved, this transfer will take place before June 30th, 2022, using our current fiscal year fund balance.
You hear the request for the approval of item D. Do we have a motion and second?
I make a motion.
Certainly. We have a request for the approval of item D. And Mrs. Norris, did you make the motion?
I made it.
Mrs. McGinnis? Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Sorensen. Mrs. McGinnis makes a motion for approval. Dr. Sorensen seconds the motion. All in favor? Any discussion or question? All in favor of approval of item number D, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Ms. Holloway?
Thank you. Now on to the student activities budget. The college requests approval of the student activities budget summary for the fiscal year 22-23. These funds must be spent for behalf of the student body. The student activity funds will fund, but are not limited to, events and activities on campus, student travel, and recognized student clubs.
You hear the request for approval of item number E. Do we have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Norris. Mrs. Allen moves to approve item number E, seconded by Mrs. Norris. Is there any question or discussion? If not, all in... I'm so
I
sorry.
just want to, on the Board of Trustees scholarship, has all those students that were selected, have they enrolled?
I am not sure about
Okay.
that. I can find out and get back with you
Tony
on
can
it.
tell you that.
They're enrolling now. The transcripts are coming in. Final transcripts have been received by our registrar's office, and after they've gone through the admissions process, they're starting the enrollment process. I get a day like today at one stop, but they continue to do the rest of the summer. But that process has started.
Okay, thank you.
We did all have fun placing the signs in the yards.
Yes.
Some of them, I was a little afraid, you know, what are they going to think? I'm trying to put something in their yard, but it turned out good.
Well,
All in favor of the motion is second. Let it be known by saying aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Mrs. Holloway.
Thank you. Okay, the next is the scholarship plan. The college requests board approval of the 22-23 scholarship plan. The plan details are found in the table below.
We hear a motion and second.
I make a motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Norris. We have a motion by Mrs. McGinnis, a second by Mrs. Norris to approve item number F, scholarship plan. Is there any question or discussion? All in favor of the motion, second, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
That item is approved. Mrs. Holloway.
Thank you. Student fee schedule. The college requests approval of the student fee schedule for the fiscal year 22-23. The fees are in accordance with the legislative mandated guidelines, but are subject to review and approval by the Florida college system. Proposed capital improvement fees will be used for capital improvements, technology enhancement, and equipment student buildings. Revenues are generated from technology fees shall be used to enhance instructional technology resources for students and faculty. And this is the same fee schedule since 2014.
You just answered my question.
Yes.
See, you're starting to read my brain.
That's-
We should be proud of that.
Should be. That's... Okay, we need a motion and second to approve item number H as requested.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Norris.
I second it.
And second by Dr. Surrency. Do we have any question or discussion of that motion? If not all in favor of that, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Item number I.
The college requests approval to approve the 22-23 budget for the Foundation for Florida College. I have to pull this out separately and send it to you for request separately. Now, the budget as compared to the previous year is up about $45,000, and that's attributable to a personnel restructure, raises, and an increase in benefit costs.
And that would be probably comparable, and some of those cost increases are comparable to the rest of the salary structure for the college. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Your motion and second to approve that item.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mrs. Norris moves to approve item I, and we have a second by Dr. Surrency. Is there any question or discussion on item I? A lot of hard work in putting that together. Thank you. All in favor of that, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion's carried. Mrs. Holloway.
Thank you. And here's the big one. Operational budget for fiscal year 22-23. Current fund, unrestricted Fund 1. The college requests approval of the operating budget for the fiscal year 22-23. Current Fund 1, fund unrestricted. State Board of Education Rule 6A-14.0716 requires the college to prepare a budget for the current Fund 1 and subsequent to approved by the District Board of Trustees, submit copies of the approved budget to the Division of Florida Colleges for review and approval. The college baccalaureate operating budget is an integrated part of the budget presentation.
This is item I that you're recommending, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think I stated item I on the previous matter, and I was incorrect. It was item H. Could we please note that for the minutes? Okay, you hear the request for item I, approval. Do we hear a motion and second?
I'll make that motion.
I make it.
Mr. Chair.
I second it.
Thank you. Dr. Surrency moves to approve the operating budget as presented. Mrs. McGinnis makes a second. Is there any question or discussion?
I have a question for you. What is the 90 to 120 day payroll expense where 80% is payroll? So what is that cash requirement?
I am not 100% sure.
Just
It's
ballpark it for me.
ballpark at about 700,000.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions? Discussion? All in favor of the motion and second for approval of item I, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion's carried. Item J.
The college requests approval of the Florida College System Capital Improvement Plan and legislative budget request for fiscal year 23-24 through 25 through 26 for the Florida Gateway Community College. This report is required to be completed annually by the college and submitted to the Division of Florida Colleges. The division will use the data from the report to submit requests for the public education capital outlay funding in the next legislative budget. The CIP2 summary is provided for your information and approval. All efforts to identify and collect the receivables have been exhausted. These accounts have been delinquent for 2 or more years and are $20 and under and have been delinquent for more than 1 year. So it should be $20 and over and have been delinquent for more than 1 year. And I will notate that this is actually a decrease of $24,840 over the previous year in our
Can you
write-offs.
like read all my notes of the questions I was gonna ask beforehand?
Yes. I have.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Good. Good. It's a great decrease. Do we hear a motion and second to approve item K as requested?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Norris.
Second.
Ms. Norris makes the motion to approve. It's seconded by Dr. Cernsey. All in favor of approving, if there's no question or discussion, all in favor of approval of item K as requested, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion is carried, and we have reached the final item. Item L.
Thank you. Approval of one-time payment. The college requests approval of a one-time payment of $1,500 from the unrestricted fund to college employees that are classified as administrators in the Florida retirement system. We're attributing this to the rising inflation costs, which is directly related to the pandemic. These employees are not eligible to receive this payment from the CARES Fund. And by the way, I did get a lot of people telling me to express their thanks to you for approving the bonus for the employees.
Okay, you hear the request by Mrs. Holloway on item L. Do we have a motion and second?
So moved.
I second it.
We have a motion by Mrs. Norris to approve as requested and a second by Mrs. McGinnis. Is there any question or discussion on item L? Hearing none, all in favor of that, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. I want to say this for the record, for the public record, that all of those 11 items, correct, Mrs. Norris? 11 items. The mathematician started counting, I saw her. We have either workshopped or received information in advance and/or received information in advance of all of those items. The board has had abundant time to discuss them and consider them based on information previously received, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Nice
very
job.
much. Thank you.
President
Great job.
Barrett.
I hope I have everything here. First of all, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to thank the board for letting me be elected to the trustees for SAC COC. I don't know how long we'll be members of SAC COC, but thank you for that opportunity. It's probably been the best professional development opportunity I've had in 36 years. I thought it was going to be a cushy, being a trustee of 77 people. Little did I know is twice a year, I thought we had a nice trustee meeting. Little did I know that I would have to be assigned 11 cases to review of colleges and then being part of a team that reviews 77. So it's been a long 3.5 days. But it was very rewarding and we'll learn a lot. I've learned a lot and hopefully bring back forward some best practices and things not to do at your institution, both good things and bad things. So thank you for that opportunity. Before I go into some of my comments, I always misstep on this, so I think I want to get this out of the way. Maybe I get it right in my 7th year, finishing in my 7th year. The annual review of the Florida Gateway College mission statement. At this meeting, you are supposed to review that, and the college requests the annual approval of this mission statement unless you want to change it. And let me read that mission statement to you. The mission of Florida Gateway College to provide superior instruction, nurture individual development, and enrich the community through affordable, quality, higher education programs and lifelong learning opportunities.
What is the pleasure of the board concerning our mission statement?
Move to approve.
I second it.
We have a move to approve by Mrs. Norris and a second by Mrs. McGinnis. Is there any question or discussion on that matter? All in favor of the motion to approve our mission statement as presently written, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion is carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I finally got it right. Before the other thing we usually do, wait till the last minute, I'd just like to get out, is that the reorganization of the College Board of Trustees takes place at the August meeting. So that that time, the board will appoint officers, a chair, vice chair, and for some standing committees. Katie has presented to you tentatively at the August meeting, the Board of Trustees meetings for 2022 and 23 at different locations. Once again, the staff would recommend that the second Thursday of the month at 5 o'clock, which doesn't impact other meetings locally, would be the time that we'd ask you to do that. But just wanted, no action necessary, I'm asking for action, but just to notify you of that information. Now I'd like to turn, Mr. Luker asked a question. It is a 2-year process to get people up to $15 an hour, is the salary schedule that we did. One of the reasons we decided to do that was not to jump like many other organizations have done, public organizations, because of impact and compression issues. So what we've done is do a really timed session of this, so it'll be a 2-year process. We no longer have a cafeteria, so the lowest paid workers are no longer on there since it's been outsourced. We have an independent person doing that. So we believe in 2 years we can get everyone up to $15 an hour. And we've already addressed that in the salary schedule and throughout our budget process today to make sure those individuals at the lowest paid of this institution are receiving the most percentage-wise, and to try to get that. So we've really made an effort of that. Moving on from that, I wanted to kick off in your packets. I didn't know we had packets. We had the invites in there. But as I continue to talk about, is our 75th anniversary is coming up on June 30th. And that is the first day we ever had classes on this campus. In 1947, we'll be opening the STEM building. And for you, we have the first of many things. These are magnets for your organizations with the 75th logo on it, with the 75th logo on it, a different logo. And they're hot off the presses. I thought this was a bologna sandwich when I got here at 3:30, but it's actually magnets. So I thought you would appreciate that. On June 30th, it will be at 9 a.m. in front of the STEM building, where we'll open the Quinn and Keith Leifried building. And I can't say enough, as we start this process of inviting, we expect 200 to 300 people there for that grand opening. And Lance, if you're listening, can you kick off the video and I'll turn off the video? If he's listening, he said I didn't have to do anything, so.
This year, Florida Gateway College unlocks a major milestone in celebrating 75 years of helping students go further together. For decades, FGC has been... This year, Florida Gateway College unlocks a major milestone in celebrating 75 years of helping students go further together. For decades, FGC has been helping students discover their own passions, embrace what truly speaks to them, and build confidence in the tools needed for success in their futures. FGC was awarded Aspen's Top 150 in the nation for community college excellence. The college serves approximately 5,000 students annually within 5 North Central Florida counties, which include Baker, Columbia, Dixie, Gilchrist, and Union. Experienced and passionate professors leading small class sizes are ideal for ensuring personalized student learning. FGC's campuses are continually expanding, with the newest addition being a leading-edge STEM facility built to encourage student innovation. Among the college's 3 campuses, it offers a diversity of academic degrees and programs that help students achieve their educational and career goals. FGC offers fun and engaging activities and programs for its students. such as student organizations, multiple sports teams, and games and activities in the Student Center. Once you become a Timber Wolf, you become a part of the Wolf Pack forever.
I'm Dr. Larry Barrett, president of Florida Gateway College. This year, we are celebrating our 75th anniversary with many special events planned to commemorate this milestone. Kicking off our anniversary celebration is the grand opening of the Quinn and Keith Libfried STEM Building on Thursday, June 30th at 9 a.m. Our community is invited to tour this leading-edge facility, of which we are incredibly proud. We thank you for your continued support of the college and look forward to sharing more about our upcoming year-long 75th anniversary celebration of events. Morning, they start putting it together and the fence will be down on Wednesday.
Man, our timing was impeccable on Sunday.
And can't say enough to the facilities and Mike Lee for pulling that together. Also, I wanted to let you know, just give you a brief update over the Lakeshore Hospital and the charter school idea that I brought to you 2 or 3 months ago. I'll first mention the charter school. I have had a meeting with Superintendent Carswell, who is interested in partnering to do a charter school for Columbia County. So we will start discussions about what that would be and so forth in the near future. So we are partnering if we do something like that. Just wanted to let you know. I did make a presentation along with Lee to the hospital authority about 2 weeks ago regarding our thoughts about the hospital building itself. And we were joined by HCA CEO Jill Adams that indicated that she would do a sick clinic in the building for us, and we explained some of our partners. It really comes down to 3 buckets for the institution. We keep on talking about the 3 buckets. The building, the money to renovate the building, and then the operating costs. And my understanding is the Lakeshore Hospital Authority will be starting their discussions about what proposal they would accept. There's 3 proposals on the table. I have been approached last Tuesday, a week ago this past Tuesday, from Marian Hospital about potential partnership with them. I have not responded because some of their proposal indicates other buildings and so forth, and we haven't engaged in that at all. So stay tuned to that. I just wanted to give you an update of that, and if you want me to take other direction, I continue to say we don't make any final decisions or any guarantees until we have board approval or input. I don't know how it's going to go. It may go a wholly different way, and as each day comes, one day it's very exciting, and the next day it's not so exciting.
I just have a really basic question, dumb, basic question. Okay, so you've got a really old building that needs a lot of rehab work. And then because it's an old building that needs a lot of rehab work, there's a significant operating cost to it. So has there been any discussion of potentially demolishing that old building and putting up a state-of-the-art new building that may be maybe more expensive potentially than the existing building, but more functional, better operating costs, more attractive to different entities? Has that even been a discussion?
Yes. It actually came up with Don Kennedy, who's one of the board members, asked me that question. And I responded to him saying, he said, would the college be interested if we knocked down the building and gave you the 5 acres? And I said, from a standpoint of getting money to build a building, it's much easier to build a new building. So I responded in that way to him. That is, I've heard the rumor on the street, not talking to anybody from the board, that potentially could be on the table. I think that one of the things is there's been rumor on the street that they would just give us 5 acres and do something else with the hospital. I think we really have to look at, if you look at that property, some of the property is in wetlands, there's lots of things. So that is on the table. I can just say that, and we would be interested, and we would probably do the same reverter clause that we talked about for the old building, that if we didn't do anything with us, if those pockets of money didn't come in, we would return the property to the authority. So that is, and Lee, is that pretty much?
Okay.
So that is on. So
Thank you.
The last question. So any other questions? And the last is, is disappointing news, but I'm happy for him. And I sent you this information is Marlon has indicated after serving with me 7 years, I think 7 years too long, he
Is
said.
it like a dog's life where it's like
Yeah, he said it
49
was 7 years too long. He told me, no, he didn't.
No, I
And
didn't say
it was
that.
2004 was when Catherine and Chuck Hall, is that the
I
year?
think it was before 2000.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
just say it was been more than 20 years.
So,
Yeah.
and he's indicated he would like to, he calls it slowing down, but I'm not sure of that. So, he's indicated that he would like to step down as the board attorney, and we've had some discussion. He will stay on until we find somebody else, and we'll be going through a RFP process to find somebody else, so, unless the board has some other thoughts about that. I just wanted to thank Marlon for so much. I kid, but, I mean, I'll miss him dearly, so.
I'll miss all of you. How do you say goodbye to a dream job that everybody wants, and you're sitting here with it, and you say, well, it's time to go? But it's been a great ride and people to work with. Just a couple of comments, and I could summarize by saying 6 words: thank you, thank you, thank you. Florida Gateway College, formerly known as LCJC-FRS, Forest Ranger School, and Lake City Community College, and all of that. But I have a history here with the college, obviously, for a long time. This started the year I was born, so when you're talking about the 75th anniversary, you're talking about me as well. I hate to say that. So now you're kind of getting the idea of why it's time for me to move on. But it's been great, and I never had to fight for the job. I never had to fight to keep it, thanks to Catherine and all the board here. I've enjoyed. This is a great board, always has been, and it's been a lot of fun. And as I say, it's hard to say goodbye, but I remember when Terry McDavid resigned. Suzanne, you were here, and Catherine, you were here, and maybe Chuck was here, and it was right in this area, but a different building. And I remember Terry saying, I don't know why I'm leaving this job. But his real estate business had gotten so busy that he had to, but he was a great lawyer, and Suzanne, I think, can attest to that because she worked with him. And so here I am 20-some years later trying to figure out the same thing, but it's for the benefit of everybody. And I want to say what you do now will live after you and after me. I'm here, as Dr. Barrett indicated, because of Florida Gateway College and its predecessors. I came out of the tobacco patch in 1965 and out of high school into this, and but for this college, I would not have gone on. I wouldn't have been able to get into the University of Florida or any of the other universities. But this was here. My brothers were here. Bill Brown's been mentioned, and he was number 1. Well, my brothers were within the top 10 of those coming in. And so I came on in 1965 and moved on from there. Some of you probably don't know, I was a CPA before I was an attorney. And my CPA started right here. There was a fellow at University of Florida grad student who was teaching the class, and he was so interesting and funny that he got some of us motivated, and we went on to get our CPA and then law after that. So your volunteers, you work hard. Just remember what you're doing now, yesterday, today, and tomorrow will be here a long time for future students. So I'll end saying thank you. Thank you, thank you.
And I think he'll be with us in August. I asked him to stay a little while longer, so
I'd be happy to.
Do we have any board members that would like to say or share anything now?
I'd like to say I appreciate you. I do remember the day that Dr. Hall and I went to see you, and we really believed in you then, and I still feel the same way. I appreciate you always keeping us abreast of things that we need to be aware of, and I thank you.
Thank you.
And Marlon, having served on this board with your expertise as long as I have, you exemplify everything that we want to see out of this college, not just your professional expertise as an attorney, which has been invaluable and outstanding, but just your commitment to this college, having come through this college and appreciating what this college has done for you, but then in turn, in so many ways, I know you've given back. I know that this is not your highest paying opportunity. I know it may be the best job that you have because you love it, but it's certainly when your time is your trade, you have other places you could put your time and energy, and certainly it would be more lucrative for you. So you do this out of love, and you do it out of commitment to the betterment of our college and our community, and really out of our students, because really at the end of the day, it's all about our students and who comes forth here, and you were one of them. And so I just want to thank you for the example that you set, not only as having come through here as a student, but as a professional and a community advocate for this whole area. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll just add to that and just say, Marlon, thank you. And you've been on this in your position as long as I've been on the college. And I think your history and the comments you've made and what you've meant to this college is very important. So thank you for what you've done and for being part of it.
Thank you.
Marlon, I'd like to say, I've only known you for 8 years, not as long as some of the rest of the board, but in those years, it's been a joy to work with you. You've always been on top of everything we've needed to know legally, and you give us forethought and decision-making, and I just appreciate your dedication.
Thank you so much.
Everyone here has seen your professional expertise for many more years than I have. And I've certainly experienced that. And especially as chair of the board, you've been invaluable in your insight and willingness to help me. I will remember most of all your kindness and your gracious demeanor, even in difficult situations. As a consummate gentleman, I appreciate it so much. What an example.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Dr. Barrett, is it too late to change my mind?
You can, and I will, Marlon, I think sometimes we go through it, but one of the things, and Marlon will confirm, when we talk a lot, I ask him at some point, I said, can you take me off the clock? So we have so he's one of the attorneys, we don't pay him enough. But a lot of times I say, take me off the clock. Don't I say that to you?
Absolutely.
That's one of the things, how cheap I am. So the thing is, so we have some,
love about you.
So
That's right.
So
Off
right.
the clock, off the record.
So that's why it's been great. So I wanted to thank him so much. And Marlon, you
Appreciate
can
it.
come back anytime you want.
We'll be tracking you down.
Okay,
Lee knows where you are.
I'm not going anywhere outside the city limits.
And then I do have one more thing. Because of the budget situation and so forth, and because we have another long-term employee retiring, he's actually doing his last work in his current position is Mike McKee, as he's in Orlando at the Gaylord Palms, hearing about our new budget formula that they're trying to push down. The more money you spend, the more money you get. It's kind of a reversed situation. But he is there, and he'll be retiring on June 30th from the Executive Council after 34 years of service. And I would like him to come back, and we could probably honor him. It's deserving of him. With that, we really took a look at our budget, the executive team and so forth, and decided to not replace Mike specifically as an executive director and to use his money in a savings. The cost savings came to about $60,000, and we created some positions. And as I joke, but I'm appreciative of this, both Lee and Tony got the short end of the stick. Tony a lot, Lee did not so much. But Lee will be the covering government relations in the lobbying area this current year, which was Mike's half of his responsibility over the last 2 or 3 years. And Tony will take over as the PIO, and he will have Stephen Coolati move over and be with him. And Tony's already started that transition with making sure we get media out to all media and to and work that out. And with that, Tony is going to step back a little bit from enrollment management, the day-to-day operations, and his second person in command, Casey Schrader, will move up to the Dean of Enrollment and Marketing. She will take over the AV department, which has been under my control for a year. And even though I love the guys and we learn a lot, I'm glad to be done with it. Okay, it's one less thing to have to be done with. So I just wanted to inform the board of those changes. I think they're good changes for the institution. And one of the other changes in regards to, which was mentioned a little earlier, was Rebecca Golden, the Director of Athletics, has moved to the foundation, and Penny Ferris, yep, I got it right. So has moved to her dream job in the library to replace Joanne Bailey after 49 years. And we are currently searching for a director of athletics. So I just wanted to give you those updates. If you have any questions, please ask me or give me a call.
Thank you so much. Okay, is there any other matter for the board to consider this evening? Discussion? Are there any items that you would like to see brought to the board in August after we take our summer hiatus? If you can't think of any just now, please let the president know, and you will see that they are on our agenda. Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second? Second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Early, get my butter.